All right, folks, long time no see, and today I'm celebrating a little, perhaps preemptively, because you see my Bucks right here, and if you're an old enough fan, you know the logo. This is the old classic logo, so don't write in the comments that's wrong. It's not. This is the logo from about 20 years ago, a little older than I look, but I'm celebrating their victory, and the reason, I mean, the game's at one, but the reason they're going to win is because they have process, they have skill. And I've been thinking a lot, I actually wrote up a guide about how UIT managers in aviation and aeronautics can use automation and process through bots and things like artificial intelligence, Docker, containerization, DevOps to make your life easier. And frankly, just to rock it like Tampa, right? And if you're a Vikings fan, I'm very sorry, but it's going to be a difficult, difficult day in Minnesota, I think. All right, so let's jump right into it. Here are my top three IT automation tips for particularly the aerospace industry. But they will, if you're outside of aerospace, they'll probably work for you as well. In fact, they work for me, and we're doing software mostly focused on aerospace, but they'll work. We have some pharmaceutical people using them, you'll be fine. Okay, number one, and by the way, there's two bonus tips at the end if you download the guide itself. But the number one tip I can give you, and this is for anybody, absolutely anybody, regression testing. How many times have your developers come to you after a demo that maybe you presented to stakeholders and upper management and that demo did not go over well? I mean, right? And what does a dev say? I'm in hell. I've been a dev for over a decade. What do I always say? Well, worked on my machine, right? Yeah. No, it didn't. Here's why. Here's why that happens usually. Developer A, let's call him Jim, is working on feature A. Developer B, let's call him Mike, is working on feature B. Hopefully you're using source control like Git or something like that, and they're in different branches. So then they merge, and well, developer A manually tested feature A, and Mike over here tested feature B. But when you merge them together, there's some shared component they modified, or some setting that maybe Mike tweaked or Jim tweaked, and they kind of just don't get along, right? The code changes just don't work. That's what we call a regression. And the really sneaky thing, and I'm sure you know this from prior awful experience, is that regressions might not necessarily be in the code or in the feature set that A or B, Mike or Jim were working on. It could be in something that's been validated for 90 days. It's been working for a year. Then all of a sudden, just doesn't work anymore. That's a huge problem. And the way to around that is to using something like Bitbucket pipelines or even like a Jenkins solution to automate regression testing to have individual unit tests for each feature set. Again, assuming you're already doing things right? We write unit tests, we have 100% coverage, right? Wink, yeah, sure, of course you do. But run the tests every single time and write specific tests one time, right? This is the manual job has to happen just once that test all the old pre-qualified functionality, but they run anytime anything new is merged into the staging, develop, whatever your Git flow looks like branch. That will save you. I'm sure you've had the pain, right? Some pretty difficult stammering kind of tap dancing in front of management stakeholders saying, oh geez, well this worked yesterday, that'll save you a lot of hassle. So the next one is kind of related. It's about interactions with stakeholders and management. Reporting. Reporting to management's hard. As a consultant, I find that every client, every stakeholder wants to be informed in a different amount, but also in a different way. The traditional, hey, I'll send you an email update every other week or every week, really isn't going to fly anymore. And even if it does, that's a pretty manual, time-consuming process. And what I found is using tools like Jira or UTrack, or even GitHub issues, if that's what you're using. I mean, GitLab's fantastic too if you're using that for issue tracking. They all have API access where you can go in and actually compile the list of issues as they've been changed with interesting statistics on what kind of work went into it. This is particularly true. I mean, we use the Atlassian suite of Buccaneer. So we have Bitbucket and Jira together, and you can actually correlate the information together into a report. what this does is it generates the report automatically, basically the structure of the report. And I can spice it up if I sometimes I'll write like a two or three sentence executive summary on the top for the perhaps the non-technical stakeholders. But it saves me. I found that this saves me at least, oh geez, at least 5 or 6 hours a week, so especially if you have multiple projects. Um, but they're maybe not big projects, right? Or indeed, if they are big projects and they're complicated and you need to break it down. Now, there's a little bit of an upfront investment here. It depends on the tools you're using. If you're using something like the Atlassian Suite, particularly Jira, will do something like this for you to begin with. Then all it is a matter of automating the downloading the report, and then you do whatever you want with it. Just change it in Microsoft Word. If you're not, let's say you're using a mixed solution like UTrack and Bitbucket or something like that, you can actually tie into the APIs for these services with probably a week's development effort. It's a service we also offer at Buccaneer Plug, but it definitely, you'll find that it's going to save you time. It saved me time, and the best thing about it is there's no subjectivity to the report. The report is what the report is. And that's also, I found, really good for evaluating developers individually, because particularly Jira will allow you to pull the report based on the individual developer per project. So that's pretty substantial, I found. Again, it's something you're probably doing manually right now, or maybe you're not. Maybe you're giving less detailed reports. I know a lot of people are trying to do that. They're trying to just give like a daily stand-up, and I don't know about you, but daily stand-ups, especially without, a lot of people tend to tune out. I feel like a lot of folks, stand-up gets overused, and then a lot of people are on the call and just want to like, how quickly can I get off the call, mute my mic, and do what I'm supposed to be doing, right? So just something to keep in mind, particularly if you are required to give written reports. The last thing is, of course, deployments. Who hasn't been up at 2 a.m. with a bad deployment, right? So these all tie together, particularly regression testing and deployments. Ideally, you would have a system set up like this. Developers have their machines. There's a development server that when they merge their code into source control, let's assume you're using Git. Let's say you merge into a development staging branch. That would run all the regression tests. If the tests pass, again, using something like Jenkins, it would deploy the code to that development server. So on and so forth for staging, right? So when features are added past development QA, you would do another pull request into staging and automatically deploy. Now, there's a tons of ways to do this. I am a big fan of Docker, so we're actually using a Docker Compose-based system internally, and we've actually been able to kind of cheat a little and get a little bit of stuff for free here, because Bitbucket has their pipelines product that is free if you're a current Bitbucket Atlassian subscriber, rather, and it will run the test for you. You don't have to stand up a separate test server, and you can tie into it and have it actually deploy to your staging server. So our setup is we have Ubuntu Linux servers that, and it could be anything, right? If you're a Microsoft shop, it could be Azure, it could be whatever, that are just running on DO, and we pull it over, automatically deploys if the test pass. And if it doesn't, the actual regression test send an error into our team Slack channel and notify the relevant people about what didn't pass. So that's great, right? And then actually it generates a ticket too in Jira. So now you have similar to what you might do with crash reporting if you have a mobile product on like Hockey app or iTunes Connect, that kind of thing. But it actually generates the ticket for you. So those are my top 3. Now there are 2 extra ones. You'll have to download the guide for that. It's going to be linked in the show notes here. And I would encourage you to check out the rest of the YouTube videos. I try to keep them under 10 minutes. I try to keep them helpful. And if you are a Minnesota Vikings fan, again, my deepest condolences. Maybe you can make your work life easier. Have a great day.